They're on his face every day. Myles Udland just told us Warby Parker glasses. And the company is going to be going public. They're doing a direct listing. And that is according to a confidential filing that the company made in June that is now being reported on, and is doing that direct listing method versus an IPO versus a SPAC. In answer to your question, Zenni, that is the online glasses provider that I tend to use. There are a lot of them now, which kind of raises the question about how Warby Parker is going to do in this environment. Warby Parker has a certain aesthetic, a certain niche, certainly. The company apparently for the first 6 months of the year about $270.5 million, and has losses like many of these companies do. But so Myles, I guess, for investors, they're going to have to determine if this is a good investment for them, because it is such a crowded space.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crowded space. I'll give Warby Parker this. I think when you look at what's the concept of disruption? It's going into a staid market and changing the way that market operates. I remember being a kid. This was in 2002, maybe 2003, when I got my first pair of glasses, right? We drove over to the Lens Crafters, the Livingston Mall, and my parents made sure to bring their AAA card because that got a 30% discount or whatever it was. But you walk in there, and I mean, the frames and the lens, it was like $400 or $500 something at this point. Yeah. This is almost 20 years ago. Not to mention, they're like these nerdy, half wire frames. The first pair of glasses I had the, no frame underneath. It was like just the lens, and then on top it was, like some kind of weird wireframe thing. And of course, the aesthetic, that's a style thing that changes with time. But all this to say, the glasses buying experience was not exactly pleasant or affordable. And Warby certainly has created this whole new ecosystem of these brands that, yes, they do the same thing, but we talk a lot on the program, and I've certainly framed it this way. Maybe it's incorrect from an investment standpoint, but you think about what is the verb, or what is the name that's associated with a certain industry, right? Netflix is associated with streaming, for better or for worse. And I think if you bought Netflix 10 years ago, that was great. It hasn't been quite as great recently, but you know what I'm saying. Warby Parker has an association with sort of 2010s era, let's call it Vampire Weekend hipster aesthetic, how you buy glasses. And that's probably not going to change, right? I don't know if that means it's like the greatest business in the world, if it's worth $30 billion or $3 billion. Sales are growing 30%, maybe not the growth rate you'd want to see, but at the same time, this is a sleepy industry. And again, I just got to say, like on the count of did you disrupt, the answer couldn't be a clearer yes. I don't think there's too many businesses out there of this late venture capital group that more cleanly went in and disrupted, in the way that Warby has done.
Myles, you're giving me flashbacks to my first pair of glasses. I remember my mom taking me to the local Pathmark. It was a dreadful experience, man. Really expensive glasses here. I got made fun of the next day. It was just really, I think I'm still emotionally scarred from that experience. But to your point, when this company eventually does become public, and I've talked to the co-founders before. I really appreciate that this is still a co-founder-led company. Both of the co-founders really know what they're doing, and it's really impressive to see or to have listened to what they in fact have created, especially from a supply chain perspective, to get these glasses at really compelling cost, and then the branding that goes around is very interesting. But as a public company, they're going to have to drive profits. And in 2018, they lost $22.9 million. They lost $55.9 million last year. They broke even in 2019. Now, they do operate 145 retail stores. I would suspect they're going to have to open up more of those stores and perhaps also expand into some other categories here.
I think have they expanded already into other categories? I can't recall if they have other things besides glasses. I've been in a Warby Parker before, but
they have contacts.
Yeah, large chunk of the business is glasses, but can this be a lifestyle brand? Do you want to see Warby Parker selling clothes? Unsure, but again, can they take it to a lifestyle brand?
Yeah, there's a chart in here. Oh God, this thing is so long. Let's see where we're at. We're on page 120. and they've got their holistic vision customer, which is someone who gets their eye appointment, gets their contacts, basically is in and out of a Warby Parker physical location a couple times a year. Their spend is 2.2 times higher than glasses only customers, which makes sense. I bought 2 pairs of glasses, I guess, when I got my prescription 2.5 years ago, but now I'd have to go get another eye exam to be able to use the prescription again, and I don't really want to do that. I think my eyes are fine at this point. But yes, that's is it the SaaS? It's not like a SaaS, but it's like the as a service part of it's the gas, right? Part of the business gets you, in there with the
Sounds like a
contacts
big TAM, Myles. Big TAM. Big TAM.
Well, their TAM
as a service. There you go.
Although their TAM, you'd think it'd be 14 billion eyes, but it's actually not. They list their TAM as the 4.7 billion people on Earth who have or need some sort of vision correction, which again is a couple billion short of everyone on Earth, which I thought was interesting. If there's not a company that has the TAM as everyone, I would have thought it'd be Warby, but they held off.
Yeah, everybody needs readers eventually.
Yeah, every baby born is a potential
I hate to break it to you.
All right, let's go.